Hey kids, it's Brother Wheeze from the Wheeze Show, and you're listening to the Hoppe and SuperRICH Show.
All right. Call the show, 630-785-2510. That is 630-785-2510. Also, find The Edge on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, too. It's at The Edge on air. All right. We were just talking about this with the mics off, and I can't wait to give our opinion, but this whole thing going on with the NFL, they need to have somebody with actual authority.
Someone not named Roger Goodell.
Yeah, they need an actual guy who's not a lawyer, because he's previously a lawyer before he became a commissioner. So, of course, he knows how to sweep this under the rug, because that's what scumbag lawyers do. And that's why Roger Goodell's a scumbag.
Now, how much longer do you think it'll take before he either resigns or is fired?
He's not leaving, because he's going to know how to sweep this under the rug. Tom Brady could be accused of beating up Giselle, and as powerful and as much money as Roger Goodell makes, and as much as he shouldn't, he will figure out a way to resign. I would be shocked.
No, if Tom Brady does something that's against the law, he won't be suspended. Roger Goodell will give him the free pass.
Well, I think Roger Goodell is going to be gone within a week or two.
There's no way.
No.
So?
No.
I'm not going to make a
he's gonna
bet
be
on
gone.
it, because there's
How?
a decent chance. I just think...
How? Because he doesn't want all this controversy to his name. He's going to resign.
He's making
And then
over
what's he
$40
gonna
million.
do? What do you mean to his name?
And
What else
then
is he
the
gonna-
next person
what
in
does
line
he
would be
care?
the commissioner.
And then what does he care what anybody thinks of him? Because he's making $44 million. He's set for life.
Yeah, but
he's
it's
got
the
a hot
NFL.
wife who does. But yeah, do you think he really cares what anybody thinks of him? The guy's a buffoon. If he cared what people thought of him, he wouldn't have awful suspensions.
Well, I think
that are contradictory.
there's already public outcry for him to resign.
Okay,
I think
he's not leaving. I trust you.
no, he's going to leave. Not necessarily soon, but within the next few weeks, I could see him
I just
resigning.
don't see it. I just think he's going to try and play this out.
Maybe
Ryan-
if he wasn't making as much money, he wouldn't. Except, and the owners aren't going to overthrow him. There's not going to be a unanimous
he
vote
makes
that
$44 million
exactly
a year, and not just that.
Yeah, who would resign from that?
Not just that, but he's a former lawyer. This scumbag leech knows how to cover it up, just like he knew how to cover it up if it wasn't for TMZ.
Yeah, but all these past accusations are coming up, like with the whole Brandon Marshall stuff and everything. So I just
He
think,
still makes he's going to make over $50 million this year, probably.
right, and he's made that for the last 10 years almost that he's been
And
there.
then
So I think he'll be
Gloria
okay
Alred.
if he resigns. It's that.
Who would walk
I
away
don't think
from that, though?
I don't think the money's the issue here. It's all the stuff that he covered up.
Personally, if I was in his shoes and I was the guy being accused of all this, I probably wouldn't care because I'm making over $50 million a year. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. These people wish they could be in my shoes.
And enough of Gloria Alred. I get that right now you are doing good things, like you're trying to find all the scumbag wife abusers in the NFL.
Right.
But this is a lawyer who is more of a celebrity. She's more famous for the cases that she covers than for being a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, because it says here in Wikipedia, she's always been there for like women's rights and she's a women's activist, which is fine. I mean, that's cool. That's great. But the thing about her is she's always doing the cases that brings attention to Gloria Alred.
Right. And she's just doing it because it's the NFL.
And she is known as the longtime queen of the press conference. So she knows how to rock a press conference. She knows how to bring all the attention to her. She's 73 years old. She's been at this forever. So all I'm saying is, if people think that she's doing it because she cares about these victims completely, then you have slightly. Because she's also doing this for the benefit of Gloria Alred. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you
Because
wholeheartedly.
she's bringing up something that involves Brandon Marshall, the great Chicago Bears wide receiver. And now I don't want us to come off like homers because the Vikings probably defended Adrian Peterson, like Viking fans. Baltimore.
Some probably do, yeah.
Baltimore fans helped defend Ray Rice, Panther fans.
I think most realize that.
Yeah.
I think they were more trying to embrace him when he was coming back,
Yeah.
like forgiving him.
Right.
And then all the good old Panther fans probably
Greg Hardy.
defend Greg Hardy. But here's the thing. Us defending Brandon Marshall was different. This accusation that Gloria Alred brought up is from 2007. It's going on 9 years ago.
And it also started with your favorite station, ESPN, portraying a story that was kind of false about Brandon Marshall.
There are some bad things about
painted
him.
a bad, it sort of had a bad scene.
And this is just another case of the scumbag media trying to somehow have this whole propaganda, this whole outline, this whole storyline.
Right, and this whole thing with Brandon Marshall was also before he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Brandon Marshall has issues, and here's the other part that people seem to forget. He's a Christian now. He seems pretty clean cut. He's done nothing but be a good player for the Bears, and
in the community, the awareness month for borderline personality disorder.
He donates money all the time. He does things for the
charities.
homeless and for charities. But yeah, Gloria Alred.
And this accusation was back in 2007.
We were in 7th grade.
It's it's 2014. There's been 7 years now where nothing has been brought up about Brandon Marshall. He's been living a pretty good life since he's come to the Bears.
There was one in 2010 or 2011.
Yeah,
there was ones after that, but
there was one when he was on Miami.
Those were also before he was diagnosed. He was actually diagnosed after those.
Yeah,
right.
And here's the other thing. Why are people shocked that Roger Goodell covered it up back then? If he's doing it now in 2014, hey, maybe he covered up some evidence of Ben Roethlisberger.
That's why I think he's going to have to be forced to resign, because who knows how many more stories are going to come out. Things from 2006, things from 2000, from any time he started. He also might be at fault for things that he wasn't even commissioner for, just because they're going to try to throw him under the bus with all those with a whole bunch of other accusations, which is why I think he's going to have to resign.
I could see maybe he leaves and resigns if more comes out, but I could just see him going on like a quick suspension, like a paid vacation. I just don't see him leaving Super Rich and Risky. I just think since he's a scumbag lawyer, he will figure out a way to sweep this under the rug.
Well, I think it's sort of blown too big for him to do that.
What do you think, Risky?
He's not gonna resign. That's just my thing. Like, you don't resign from a job that's paying you $44 million. His name is already bad. Like, he's already made a bad name for himself. It's not gonna get better. He realized it's not gonna get any better. So there's no reason to resign when you're making all this money. And the thing is, he probably doesn't even care about all this stuff in the media.
I really don't think he cares that much. I think he cares more that he's been put in a corner and he's caught, Super Rich. Do you really think he cares about these victims? Because if he did, he would have turned in Ray Rice before. If he did, he would have had a harsher penalty on Brandon Marshall. If he cared, he would have gone down harder on Greg Hardy. So enough of the people who think he's sorry now. That scumbag's just mad he's been caught. You agree, Super Rich?
Well, yes, I think he is mad he's been caught.
What does it say?
Because he thought that there would be no chance that he would ever get caught.
Yeah, I think that sort of thing too. But this is an article that was posted today, or yesterday actually. Adrian Peterson's mother defends the NFL star, saying he's trying hard to be a good parent.
I completely believe that. With Adrian Peterson, I think it was just something. It was something that was unintentional. Like, he didn't intend to give his kid some bruises.
The thing is, he had to have done that more than once.
Right, and the thing is, and when you hear about how he grew up, it's kind of understandable why he did it. Granted, he probably did not try to be the guy that was giving his kid harm.
And why are the Bears tweeting about it? They're live tweeting what Brandon Marshall is saying.
He had a press conference.
Well, he has a press conference going on right now.
I like this line. And here's a quote from Brandon Marshall. I refuse to sit back and allow ESPN or any outlet exploit what happened to me because they don't know what happened
That's
to me.
The thing.
I love that he calls out ESPN.
Scumbags at ESPN.
That's the thing.
I was so happy when he was calling out ESPN for what they did to him, and I love that he says ESPN owes his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend an apology.
Right. They sort of fabricated
his wife needs an apology.
Of course they fabricated it. They want to bring in ratings. They don't care. But if this happened to John Butchercross, or this happened to Steve Olbermann, or anybody, they wouldn't talk about it. They wouldn't fabricate it. But when you are hiding behind a desk and you're making good money, of course you fabricate it for your own ratings, for your own income, for money to come in with advertising.
Because they're losing so much money because all they talk about is Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Johnny Manziel,
although
Rice, Ray Rice.
LeBron James.
Although I do think Brandon Marshall probably shouldn't have agreed for them to do a story with all this controversy going on around the NFL.
That was done by him, but that
was a bad move.
He said because the last time they got it wrong and they promised him that they would do it right.
That does not give them the right to be
scumbags. They probably shouldn't have done a story on Brandon Marshall during the
season.
Yeah, during the season.
This would have been a good off-season thing.
This giant shift with the NFL.
Yeah. We'll have to see how this plays out, because I just don't like ESPN whatsoever. I just think they're not good journalism. All
right. So here's a quote.
You agree with me?
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. So here's a quote from Adrian Peterson's mom. I don't care what anybody says. Most of us disciplined our kids a little more than what we meant sometimes, she said. She's 50 years old. But we were only trying to prepare them for the real world. When you whip those you love, it's not about abuse, it's about love. Jesus, that's very wrong. You want to make them understand what they did wrong. But can't you just yell at them or take away a phone or something? Why do you have to hit?
It's one thing. It's one thing if they're like really young and you spank them.
Yeah,
like it's one thing if you spank them like maybe once or twice when they're young.
That's a little different than taking the switch.
Did you hear what his dad did to him? Because him and his friend were disruptive one time during class, and then his dad met him and his friend, and then his dad grabbed his belt and started beating him in front of the whole football team.
Who did that?
What a great
Peterson's
guy.
dad.
Here's the thing with Adrian.
Awful.
What he did is not good. He's a bad parent. I think he should lose his kids for a little bit.
He's an awful parent.
But I think he had not good intentions, but it's not as bad as what Ray Rice did. I just think he is a dummy. I think he's a moron, and I think he needs to have parenting lessons.
It's just as bad as
Did he say... Wait, did he say...
This is a 4-year-old child that has marks all over its body.
I know.
Did he say what his kid did to earn the beating?
I don't think that's ever come out. I have no clue. It was probably something that didn't deserve a beating.
But listen, at the same time, enough of these scumbags who wouldn't say it to their 4-year-old's face, but they say, but parents are too soft on their kids now. You do need a good beating every once in a while. No, you don't. You don't need scars on your backside because your dad's whipping you with a tree branch, right?
And the belt.
Obviously, what he did is wrong. I just think he had not good intentions, but I think he was just being a bad parent and he didn't know how to discipline his kids. Right. I just think what he's doing doesn't have good intentions, but I can kind of see how he's trying to be a dad.
I understand
Ray Rice, who just beat up his wife because she spit on him.
I understand that. I'm
not defending it. I don't want anybody.
Adrian Peterson also has multiple kids with different, different girlfriends. So I don't know. Does he pay attention to certain kids more than others?
Oh yeah, I think he does. I think he does for sure.
They probably all got in a good beating from him.
Have they all gotten a beating from him? That's the thing.
Well, didn't a report come out that he did it again to another one of his kids like a couple of years ago? Except then his lawyer denied that.
I think you're right. I think I heard something about that. But then how about Reggie Bush's comments?
Oh yeah, I'm going to discipline my daughter harshly, and she's only 1 year old.
She's 1 year old, so you're hitting a 1-year-old now, someone that can't possibly do anything wrong.
That sounds like that she's getting a beating.
Yeah, there's not much wrong a 1-year-old can do except cry, and that's part of
Reggie Bush needs to shut
developing.
Up. He's more known for going out with that sex tape actress known as Kim Kardashian than he is known for a great NFL career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not known for anything productive. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was good at USC. He got that car that Pete Carroll.
Yeah, how about that Heisman Trophy got taken away from him, too?
But Reggie Bush is not a great NFL player. You're a joke when you're known more for saying you might beat up your 1-year-old and for sleeping with Kim Kardashian than you are for an NFL player.
Right.
Shut up.
He's not even the best running back on that team. It's joke.
The other part. He's on my fantasy team, and he's got me 6 points the last 2 weeks. Not saying I care about fantasy, but hey, maybe you should focus on helping out these Lions, you dummy.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Just go get touchdowns.
That attributes to Hoppe's 0-2 record in our league.
And I know
who cares?
Ryan Risky said Calvin Johnson also made comments. I did not hear that.
Yeah, he did hear.
Detroit Lions Calvin Johnson feels bad for Adrian Peterson and differentiates between domestic violence against women and children.
You can't do that. It's the same thing. It's both
you
domestic
can't
violence.
differentiate when they're all football players.
So, hey, Calvin Johnson, you dummy, just go score touchdowns and shut your mouth. Is it different when you beat up a cat or you beat up a woman, you're beating up something. Hey, is it different when you beat up an old person or a kid? Shut your trap, you dummy. Go focus on trying to get your quarterback to focus with that dummy Matt Stafford. Shut the hell up.
I wonder what Ndamukong Suh has to say about all this.
Oh yeah, we want to hear what he has to say. Here's the thing. These guys just need to shut their trap. I don't know if you need to put tape over your mouth or glue your hands together so you don't tweet anything out, but these athletes think they can just say these outrageous things, and I think it's okay for them to believe this. But in 2014, when we are all uptight and we all have to agree and everything needs to be nice, you can't be saying this, Kelvin Johnson. You can't be saying this, Reggie Bush.
Especially when you're as powerful as an NFL athlete.
Shut up,
you
Kelvin,
need to keep your mouth shut.
Like, you can't be saying this. Paul George, Roddy White, all these athletes just focus on winning games. You're not Al Sharpton. You're not Obama. You know what I mean? You're not some leader who speaks his mind. You're not even Joel Osteen. You're not somebody we respect. You know what I mean? Or that people look up to. Your job is to score touchdowns. Shut up.
Yeah, help your team win. Don't be making because they're doing this, they're blowing up this story more than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Maybe you should focus on bringing back one of the greatest sports in the world on the right track. By you guys saying these dumb lines, it's making your league.
That also tells
worse.
you that there's probably a lot more people than we hoped. But there's probably a lot more people who do this, who either abuse their spouse or their child. There's a lot more people in the NFL that do this, and they're all probably going to come out and be convicted. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, the NFL's never going away. We know that, but I mean, the people in it. I mean,
ratings last week.
There's going to be some harsh. There's going to be some harsh suspensions.
Jonathan Dwyer has been put on the non-injury reserve list.
I never even heard of him, so it doesn't even matter. Who is he?
Oh, he hit his wife and he struck his son.
No,
he's on the Cardinals.
We don't even know who he is.
He hit his wife. He headed his wife and then struck his son.
And this is because she wouldn't give it up to him. He wanted her to give it up to him that night, and she didn't want to do it. And he kept trying to make advances towards her, but she didn't want to put out that night. So, hey, that's a good reason to beat her up, you dummy, you scumbag, dirtbag.
The Panthers placed Greg Hardy on the exempt list.
Here's the thing. I feel like we hear about this all the time. I mean, wasn't it last year they had all these off-season arrests? Like, what's the difference now? Because TMZ's talking about it because we're talking about it? That's what's so phony about this. What's the difference now? Like, I feel like this happens every year.
Oh, yeah, last year over 50 arrests.
Yes, and like 10 of them were on the Lions.
Titus Young,
9 were on the Ravens.
Titus Young 3 times in 2 days.
Yeah, didn't Terrell Suggs get arrested too?
The whole Josh Gordon thing, that's all there, and yeah, it's not good.
Just shut up. These athletes need to shut their trap. They need to look at their bank account and say, hey, I make $20 million for catching touchdowns. I have it good in life. And just keep your opinion to yourself.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Anything else in the article?
No, that's about it. It was just saying how Adrian Peterson's mother is defending
Ryan Hoppe. What do you think about all these teams, like the Panthers deactivating?
Yeah.
What do you think about them?
Real quick. Terrell Suggs did get arrested last year. I mean, why wasn't there outrage for him when he had an AK-47 and 6 other guns? Where was the outrage
how about
back then, Harvey Levin?
That guy on the Bears. The guy on the Bears.
Johnson,
yeah, Tank Johnson got his house raided in Gurnee, and they were just taking out weapon after weapon out of his house.
Remember that?
Was it Cedric Benson? They found a dead body in his house, too?
I think you might be right about that.
Something happened outside of a nightclub in like 2006, 2007.
Plaxico Burress shot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Well, he got suspended for a season. Or no, he went to jail.
Yeah, he went to jail.
You know why there's outrage now? Because TMZ has that riveting news source, TMZ Sports. So now they care about it. Now the media cares. And here's my last
point. Do
you
you think anyone who works for TMZ actually knows about sports, too?
No.
Like, that's the thing. Like, TMZ Sports. Like, what an awful news source for sports.
Yeah. Do you think, like, Dax Holt, the guy with the spiky hair, or that Pete's dude, yo, man. Like, I've watched TMZ before. It's that guy that, like, is like a surfer dude. Do you think he watches sports, or Harvey Levin, or Charles with the braid? No, they're not watching sports. And here's the other thing. Before this happened, TMZ was talking about fake accusations that happened against Dennis Rodman. Before this happened, TMZ was talking about how Nick Young was seen in public with Iggy Azalea. So this is the first time they've ever been relevant. So quit trying to act like TMZ Sports is breaking. You know what I mean? Like this is the next big thing. They're just lucky that this is happening because they never had riveting news. You remember that? When during that class project, I had to find news to look up, and it was all awful news. So quit acting like they're doing something new. They're the same scumbags, and they just got lucky that something riveting came out, that something big came out, and now they look good. So
now,
shut up.
What do you think about the Panthers and the Vikings deactivating Greg Hardy and Adrian Peterson, and then the 49ers letting Ray McDonald play?
I don't.
Well,
they want to
they're letting Ray McDonald play because he hasn't been arrested yet, right? He hasn't been necessarily accused
That's
of
what
anything
the
yet.
GM said during
right.
Sunday Night.
Although he will be accused.
I just don't know what Roger Goodell is going to do next. Like, imagine being him. I don't feel bad for that scumbag at all. I'm just saying I can't imagine having to be him, and you have to somehow lay down the law, and you just don't know what to think.
Right.
He's got a lot on his hands.
Coming up, the Hoppe and SuperRICH Show.
All right. We got classy news of the day coming up and more. What else?
All right, we got there's been an insanity plea for the mother accused of feeding her children bleach. So she's pleading insanity. The NFL is scoring big with ratings despite all the scandals that are going on.
Obviously, were we going to quit watching it?
Right.
Anybody who said they were going to protest the NFL, shut up. You're going to watch it just like me.
And there was this guy in Lexington, South Carolina, who feared his 5 kids would kill him, so he had to take action. We'll tell you more about that, too.
All right. Coming up next, we have all of that. But call us 630-785-2510. That's 630-785-2510. We'll be right back. Hang on.
The Hoppe and SuperRICH Show.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.